I got my jacket on my
Mic is
shoulders.
on.
It's a little on the chilly side. Hey. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. You can see we're a few minutes late, but that doesn't mean anything. We're not necessarily on Facebook, are we?
Not on Facebook yet.
Not on
Okay.
Facebook yet,
Going
okay.
as fast as I'm gonna go. I
Right.
could go faster, but I'm not gonna go.
Well, maybe Facebook can't go any faster.
Anyway, so we have Sam's back with us as co-host. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll see you every week, but we'll see how that goes.
Yep, you never know.
That's for sure. And, John McDonough is here. We do have Superintendent of Schools coming in at 7 o'clock. See exactly how school started and if there's any glitches, and talk about the building project and any number of other issues that we may have in the Chelmsford Public Schools. We welcome anybody to ask us any questions.
And then there's the lousy food at the Chelmsford.
Well, we're going to talk about what we're doing
We
once
got the
we get
menu
onto
right here
Facebook.
for the whole month of October.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out. It's $3. It's not bad. So.
That's too bad.
I haven't been to any
Meatloaf.
other ones. And what we have to do is find out, and we can get online once we get it
Up in
up.
Lowell, in Lowell is heads and shoulders of what we had yesterday.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out, because I haven't been there.
We'll go again.
Yeah, we got a lot of places to go, but we'll tell everybody what we're
Next
doing
week's great.
shortly. It was 43 degrees in Chelmsford when I got up this
Yep.
morning. A little on the chilly side, but just wait a while. It's New England, you never know.
Supposed to get up to about 55 today, they said.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And then this weekend, we may hit 70, so that'll be nice. I always like to see that this time of year. Anytime the furnace isn't running, I'm happy.
Well, some of the air conditioners, the new ones that Glenn bought, also put out heat.
They're heat pumps,
Yeah.
right.
So he tried one. It was really good. It was nice and cozy.
Where do you have it?
Well, for me, it's irrelevant what he did, because we still have some older air conditioners, or one that
No,
only
but I
do
mean,
cool.
where did you install the heat pump in the house?
Well, right now, it's on the walkover,
Okay. all
on the
right.
second floor. He has one of them there. I don't know,
Pump is an electric.
Right,
yes.
exactly.
And I don't know,
Heat pump, not magic, it's electric.
Right.
right. And,
It also does AC, so.
yes, and
does
he
both.
also said that it's good to 40 degrees on the outside. I don't know what happens after that,
Well, you
or
have
if it
different.
freezes up.
You have different versions, of course, the more expensive ones perform better. But to your point, a lot of it is dependent upon how well insulated your house is and so forth. But several of my neighbors have installed them, and
They use it to supplement?
well, yes, and a woman around the corner, Carly Ream, nice woman. And I've got very good neighbors. I'm very lucky. We have very nice neighbors, and we know them all, and we get along with them, which is kind of, I'm told, is unusual in New England. So, but she did heat pumps about 5 or 6 years ago. Her heating system failed, and she had a hot water system. That failed, so she decided, well, let's do the energy thing and get the heat. So she did several heat pumps in the house, and she found that, of course, her electric bill went right through the roof. So then she decided, well, let's do solar panels, right? So so that helped quite a bit, with her electric bill. But she made quite an investment. And I was talking with her about it last year, and I said, well, what happens when the temperature gets, 10 degrees, 0? She said, it struggles. She said, we're good down to about 15 degrees, okay? She said, once it drops below that, she said, they can't keep up. And I think if her house were a little tighter, it would be okay, because, well, again, it depends on how well insulated.
The pump takes the heat that's in the air and puts it in your house.
I understand that, okay?
And the colder it is outside, the less.
The less heat it is.
Right, but they do have some, again, if your house is well insulated, if it's tight, they have some that will perform to 0 and below, okay? but those are the more expensive.
Well, yeah, because the
units.
slim lines and different things,
Right.
we were told they were like $10,000 a piece.
Yeah, no.
You know, and the air conditioner is
Right.
like under 1,000. So I don't know if we have one of those in our master bedroom or not. But I do know that in New Hampshire, excuse me, we're putting in the double hung windows. Sometimes people call them sash windows, the ones that go up and down this
Yep,
way
yep.
rather than out.
Yep.
And the only reason that we're replacing them that way, besides the fact I really don't like the other ones,
New construction.
I don't like the casement windows either. I'd rather have the traditional.
right, well, we want to
double
put air conditioners in. Right now,
Yep.
the air conditioners we
Yep.
have, Glenn made whatever you want to, an insert of the crank-out windows for the ones that go on the floor, air conditioners, not heaters. And I'll have to find out whether or not there's a heat unit with that. I can ask
You
him
don't
that
really,
question.
you know,
But we heat with oil up there. And that wasn't a choice of mine. That's what we came
well,
with.
you don't have natural gas.
Well, yeah, that's correct.
You'd
There's
have
no
to-
natural gas. We'll have to do propane,
You'd
and that's
have
the most
to have- you'd
expensive
have
way to
have-
heat.
Yeah, you'd have to have propane tank.
Right. I do cook with propane. And
Up
the
in
dryer is gas. So that's
In
efficient.
Chelmsford, what do you cook with?
Gas. Everything in my house is gas.
I'm all-
Piped-in gas.
Piped in, yes.
I'm 100% gas. If I could find
Yeah.
a gas refrigerator, I would do that.
Well, that's funny because when,
They used to make those. I don't know if they still do, but
well, they're in museums now. You can look
Yeah.
it up. I don't know that they do either, unless, I have no idea. You would have to look that one up to see if they still make gas. I've never seen anything like it. When Glenn's grandfather upgraded his refrigerator, when, I guess Glenn was not very old, still a kid, they took it and put it in the museum in the area. And Glenn grew up in Arlington, Massachusetts. And so wherever that was, they didn't dispose of it. They took it because it was
They put it in the
probably from the
museum.
20s, yeah.
I have a better story than that.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
My grandfather died in 1956, and he was born in 1874, okay? And the whole time he was alive, he refused to give up his icebox. Never had a refrigerator. And my father's sister, my Aunt Margaret, the last 6 years of my grandfather's life, she moved in to take care of him and everything. And of course, she immediately, when she got in there in 1950 or thereabouts, I mean, she wanted to get a refrigerator because she didn't want to deal with the old-fashioned
Yeah, it's a lot of
icebox.
water.
And I remember that as a kid, and it wasn't a little one. He had a big, it was like one that you would find in a hotel kitchen or something. It was a real big one, right? Took a lot of ice. And I said, I remember saying to my grandfather, I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I said, Grandpa, why don't you get a refrigerator? This is icebox. And he looked at me and he said, well, if I do that, he says, what's the Iceman going to do? That was his answer. And he didn't want to
Put the guy out
put
of
the
business.
guy out of business. And back, and again, in the early mid-50s, I guess a number of people, like my grandfather, still had the old icebox. Because I remember the Iceman coming and delivering ice on a truck and so forth.
We had the Gallagher
And
Ice family.
yeah,
in Lowell.
and
Who'd you guys have?
Concord Ice, and they're still in business. You know where I don't know if you know Concord, but you know where the courthouse is in
Yeah.
Concord? Yeah, right down that's Walden Street. You go down the street going towards Boston, and on the right, maybe about 300-400 yards from the courthouse, the Concord Ice Company, it's still there. So
Must be mighty slow.
I don't know what they do, but I mean, they're still
keep-
there.
Maybe they deliver oil.
Well, you can go there and get, they have machines and you can get cubed ice and all the rest of it, but I don't know if they still deliver ice to anybody, but.
It could
Yeah.
be,
Sam, this is a preview of the second hour. This
Is that what you had yesterday?
yes.
was
That's stir fry?
honey flavored chicken,
Ugh, looks
tasteless rice,
tasteless.
tasteless vegetables in the rice.
Doesn't look like there's too many vegetables.
This is
I'll
a
tell you in a minute.
not crisp salad, a damp salad, which I love.
A limp salad.
Well,
You
yeah,
call
because
it
there's so much dressing
Yeah,
on it.
limp. What's the other thing? Is that pudding or something?
Yeah,
This is,
vanilla pudding.
It's,
I hate
when I
that
read
stuff.
the thing, this is supposed to be pears. It says, yesterday was the 50th, mixed vegetables
It
and
says
pears.
We didn't get any pears.
I don't see any mixed
This
vegetables.
was yellow, whatever.
Looks like,
And then the milk was 2% milk.
well, that's all right.
We'll talk
All right,
more
so
about
if
this
you
the
leave
second
that,
hour.
if you leave that up, just so that people,
For the whole hour?
no,
What did it
no,
cost?
$3. So it was
$3?
okay.
It's $2.50, but they don't offer any change. So if you don't have an
So it's
exact
$3.
change.
I didn't care, and it's a
for-
donation.
It's donation. You don't have to pay.
So
Well, I
if you
suppose
go to
for $3, it's not bad.
Costco, Sam's Club, I think even if you could just go to a regular supermarket, Trader Joe's, you can buy the chicken frozen in a sauce. And you can buy that rice exactly the way it looks, frozen. The salad is like you can buy the bag of pre-mixed salad because it has the carrots, it has the cabbage, the red cabbage, and
We
it
get
has
that. We-
regular
yeah.
lettuce, iceberg lettuce. They did add,
Yep.
or somebody added,
Cucumbers.
the cucumbers and grape tomatoes sliced in
All right,
half.
now here's my beef with that, and I know I'm in the minority, because I've had this conversation with many people. I want my cucumbers peeled,
Okay.
all
I
right?
wondered if that's what you were going to say. Everybody has something different.
And that's like, I
Oh, you
find,
don't care for that green edge?
no, and I find I'm about 10% of the population.
Yeah.
Most people want them with the skin on.
Well, I don't care whether they are or they aren't. My grandchildren
Yeah.
don't like the skin.
What
The
I
skin
do
is harder
is-
to digest.
I peel the cucumber, and then I take a fork.
Yes.
And I make ridges along the
Yeah, yeah,
side.
yeah,
and it
making it-
Makes it look really good, and then I
Yeah.
chop it up that way.
That's how my mother does it. So you have less
Well, there you go.
less fiber.
Yeah. I don't like the rind.
I'm not exactly sure how they did any of the rest of the stuff that's there, but
Yeah.
I do know that the two main pieces, the salad and the main course,
Well, Evelyn, when
are
we do the
pre-done.
announcements, the second hour, when we do the announcements, we'll talk about the food.
Right, so what John and I, and we're inviting Sam along also, on a Wednesday,
I didn't know you guys were doing
we're
that.
going to, we
Well,
knew
you
that.
were
but-
out sick.
That's right.
So we're gonna go to Wallace Senior Centers and see what happens on
Yeah,
a Wednesday.
That's a good idea, I like
Um,
that.
And then what John can do is, he can put up the different menus, because everything is online. Now, in order to do the thing in Chelmsford, I had to register.
Well,
So
Linda
now I have
Bound,
a little card, I can
Okay.
go there anytime.
Linda Bound is investigating Tingsboro.
Now,
It seems Tingsboro doesn't have food.
they don't?
They don't eat in Tingsboro.
Oh, that's good.
So they go somewhere else.
Now,
I don't know. What
do you
the
have to
story?
be, is there an age restriction to get in?
60.
Okay, so if you're over 60 or over, you're
Yeah.
okay.
In
All right.
Chelmsford, they'll let you eat, anybody can eat for $5.
Okay.
If
well,
you're 59, you're paying $5 for
that's-
this lunch?
Yeah, it's still a good deal. Where can you eat for $5 anywhere?
Well, the salad itself is
Yeah.
at least the $3, the way I looked at it.
But I left fulfilled. I left not
What about,
bloated, but I was content.
do they give you a dessert?
Well, that's
Yeah.
the pudding.
Oh, the pudding, okay.
This guy right here.
So I
Yellow
told,
stuff.
so
All right.
Glenn went with us, and as,
Glenn Thoren,
and as-
Evelyn's husband.
yep, and as cafeteria food goes, that's not so bad necessarily, from what we had when we were in high school and college.
25 cents when I was in high school.
And it pretty much was in the same price bracket. But I do not believe in judging it by any place by a one-time deal. I
No.
believe in at least going
All
back
plastic,
twice.
We had real silverware,
That's a good point.
metal silverware.
On a
we had
tray, yep, you can see there's
Nice
little paper.
plastic tray, paper underneath.
Oh,
This was throwaway. This is a reusable bowl and a reusable plate.
now, I see, I missed last Wednesday, which would be my favorite, meatloaf.
Well, then maybe I'll make meatloaf for Saturday night.
Meatloaf, I love meatloaf. Well, you know I love
I do too. Meatloaf's great. Sometimes I've had lousy meatloaf.
Well,
I don't make it too often.
I don't think I've,
I usually make it if we're going to go over to Sam's house, because he likes meatloaf.
I like meatloaf.
Yeah, Glenn loves meatloaf. I add all kinds of stuff to it.
Well, I had lousy meatloaf at a good restaurant in Lowell. I couldn't believe
Really?
it. This is terrible. Yeah.
I'll tell you who
I
has,
didn't
Cellulose
finish it.
in
It
it?
was not, I didn't enjoy it.
but, most people wouldn't order meatloaf for the rest, but I'll tell you, we went out to, last weekend, we went out to the Common Man
Oh,
Which one?
up in New Hampshire.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
Which town? Manchester,
No,
Concord, Littleton?
no, I think it's Milton. It's right off of Route 3.
Yes, but Milton is up by us in New Hampshire.
Not Milton. Why can't I've got a brain freeze now. Okay.
They own a lot of places,
Yeah.
and they're moving T-Bones. T-Bones is
It's,
part of the Common
exit-
Man.
It's exit,
One at a time, kids.
I think it's exit,
gotcha.
exit 8, I think, off of Route 3, whatever town,
101 West,
yeah.
101A.
Whatever town that is, Amherst, I guess. But anyway, doesn't matter. And so they had meatloaf on the menu. So you go to a restaurant, you're going to pay all this money. Probably most people aren't going to order meatloaf. It usually isn't even on the menu, But I thought, well, let's give it a try. So I ordered the meatloaf. It was absolutely out of this world. So if you go to the Common Man and you like meatloaf, and it was meatloaf and the mashed potatoes, which were excellent, and green beans cooked perfectly, and then they put the onion ring type things on the meatloaf. I mean, it was out of this world.
I'm not going that fancy.
Yeah, it was.
Usually when I make the
it was great.
meatloaf, what I do is I also make a mushroom gravy.
Yeah, that's what they had. It was a mushroom. But you know what they did with the gravy? And I've never seen this before, but it was a mushroom gravy, but they had like a touch of tomato sauce in it, in the mushroom gravy.
Great, I wouldn't do that.
Well, it was good. I mean, I looked at it because it was kind of reddish brown, and I said, what do you think that is? And then I tasted it, and I could taste just the hint of the tomato. It was,
Well, it's-
I would never think to do that,
Well,
but,
people put ketchup on
yeah,
stuff, and so maybe that's how they looked at it.
Exactly, but it
Right.
was very, very good.
And I've done the mashed potatoes with you guys.
Yep.
And then,
Yeah, the mashed potatoes were
but when I
really
make the
good.
mashed potatoes, you have the stick of butter in it, you got the cream in it, and then there's a little bit of cream cheese in
Yeah.
it because that adds
Heart
the
attack
fat.
potatoes.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. You don't need much of it.
No.
To be full. And I usually don't do green beans, I do broccoli, but, because I don't like green beans as much as I like broccoli if I have
Now-
to do that. But I have a couple of ideas for Saturday night for dinner, so I have to get there. This is a busy week.
Evelyn, you want to read these three?
Look at that.
Yeah,
I
Grand
love it.
Slam Sam, no skin on cucumber, Jay.
Thank you.
I like regular cukes peeled, but European cukes don't need to be peeled.
That's true.
With all the food talk, did Evelyn bring in homemade baked
Yes.
goodie? No, I didn't.
Oh,
yeah, I
there's
didn't.
something over there. What
Yes.
is it?
So, I didn't make anything this week simply because I have been babysitting grandchildren, and there's just no time, because I didn't get home until after 8:30. I could have made something, but I was really tired. So I said, and my daughter-in-law had given me some,
First
I-
name?
my daughter-in-law, Amy, had given me some baked goods that she had left over, and I tasted it. One of it was the apple cider bread. I like mine better. So mine's a little bit more moist, and I do a glaze and the whole 9 yards. But I thought about doing a glaze or a cream cheese filling like I normally do. But like I said, I was just too tired to do
You could
that.
have worded that differently.
Which thing?
That was very suckily worded. If your daughter-in-law, Amy, is listening to this show,
She didn't make it. She didn't make it. She couldn't use it because it had eggs in it.
It was
might-
bought?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
bought. This is not homemade.
There you go.
And she wouldn't, she doesn't care. She just says, just take it, Evelyn, it's got eggs in it, and I can't use it because my granddaughter's allergic to eggs.
now the audience understands better.
Okay,
Well, I
thank
have
you.
to-
All you have to do is ask clarifying questions.
There you go. I have to tell you a story. So we had my oldest granddaughter spent the night,
Name?
Charlotte, spent the night Sunday into Monday, and she wanted to make a cake, okay?
From scratch?
From scratch.
Oh, that's easy.
So my wife went out and bought all the ingredients,
Not if you haven't done it before.
special. Well, she's never done one from scratch. It's always been from
Yeah.
a mix,
Okay,
all
so
right?
it's not going to be easy for her.
So, well, anyway, I wish I had a picture of the thing. So she made, and she did most of it herself. We had a little help at the end on staging it and everything. But she did a 4-layer cake. Yeah, 4 layers. And then she did a special frosting.
What kind?
And it was, had marshmallow in it. It was really good. And so I thought, well, boy, she did a nice job with this. It was great. So she takes it home, and my daughter says, "Oh, this is..." So they all had it, and on Monday, and my daughter said, "Oh, this is very good. Charlotte did a nice job. Good job." And two other grandchildren, Payson, this boy, he says, "Oh, Charlotte, great job, wonderful cake." And my son-in-law, "Oh, nice job. Violet, Charlotte, next time use a cake mix." She says to her sister. So, yeah. Well, that's Violet, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so.
the middle child.
Yeah, Charlotte, next time use a cake mix. Actually, Charlotte was telling me the story, and she thought it was funny. She wasn't upset. She said, "Well, you
she
can't."
knows her sister.
She says, "You can't please everybody." I said, "No." I said, "But I says 3 out of 4. I said that's a passing
Did she
grade."
ask her to critique it? Like we're trying to critique the
Yeah.
other food. I can critique food. I'm not going to give any grades until I see all the rest of them, because
Yeah.
I don't have anything to compare the Chelmsford Senior Center, one meal that I had there, with any of the
Now,
others.
is this the first time you guys have gone? Have you been to any other senior centers?
No, this is the first time I've ever been to any
We're
of
going
them.
alphabetically.
Okay, so you start with Chelmsford.
Yep,
Next week's Drake.
Drake it, okay.
right. Well, next week, we'll go in a couple of weeks.
No, we can't because Evelyn has to get her, I didn't know she got her hair done.
Yes, every
I thought
5
Evelyn
weeks.
did everything herself.
I could, but I'd prefer not to. It's the one splurge I have in my life,
There you go.
is having
That and
my
your
hair
new
done.
car.
I don't do fingernails. I don't have any of
I
that
don't
stuff.
get that. I don't get that whole nail thing with
Oh,
the
the
women.
fingernails are beautiful.
I just don't get it.
Oh, my God, I love
To
fingernails.
me, it's a colossal waste of money.
No.
I used to do it.
Awesome stuff.
When I was on school committee, I did it for a while, and then it got pricey, and I said, forget it. And I was biting those just like I bit my fingernails at
Colossal
the
waste
time.
of
I've
money.
stopped. But,
Sam, where did you become such a cheapskate? Was that from Concord or when you got to Chelmsford? Were you
My
cheap
family
when
did
you-
not have.
Were you cheap when you were a kid?
I was
no, it's
frugal.
called frugal.
No, I'm asking him.
But we didn't have a lot of money in my family.
No,
and-
no,
and
Sam, when did you become cheap?
I don't think I'm cheap.
I don't think-
Oh,
is
yes,
either.
you are.
No.
Listening to you.
I don't waste money. I was brought up not to waste things.
So I'm going to say Concord. They taught you how to be cheap in Concord.
Well,
So your mother never did fingernail polish,
nope.
and your birthday cake didn't have frosting on
I
it.
never had birthday parties. I had one birthday
That
party. when
cost
I was-
money.
Yeah, but
Yep.
that wasn't his choice. That would have been a parent choice.
I had
Evelyn,
one.
I'll tell you the word about frugal. That's a John Zimmerman story. John Zimmerman loves to brag that Drake it is cheap. I said, John, you gotta say frugal. He says, I'm not wasting any letters. That's cheap. When you won't say
If you,
frugal,
he's,
'cause you're
John is,
wasting letters.
John is right
only
though,
one.
because of, my involvement in town government, I'm an assessor, as most people know. I do spend quite a bit of time looking at other towns, benchmarking stuff, and I have to say, Drake is pretty economical in their approach. But you also have to remember that for the size of the community, and this, I'm not knocking Drake it, okay, but they have a population of about 22,000, which is remarkable, really. Proportionally, Drake it gets, as a suburb, not a city, as a town, they get a pretty fair hit of state aid, okay? So the Drake property taxpayer gets some, it's like Lowell. I mean, the Lowell property taxpayer only pays about 35% of the city budget, whereas in Chelmsford, the Chelmsford property taxpayer pays about 80% of the budget. And the difference is the state aid, okay? So Drake it gets a pretty good belt of state aid, okay, as opposed to the town. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm stand corrected. It's 32,000.
Now we'll say
That is, yeah, we're about
We'll
37,000.
do Chelmsford. I think Chelmsford 36.
Yeah, 37, I think. There it is.
33.
Oh, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, but that's
That's
from
wrong.
2021.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah,
No,
we're
no,
about high.
this is from AI, the exact.
No.
That means it even comes.
No, it said
No.
it's not available yet, but the
That's wrong.
population is over that.
That is- no.
Based on 2021.
Actually, that's.
That's very low.
I think that's 2010 number. No, that's way too low.
Well, he would know, because he knows how many,
We got to do Tewksbury because we're live
It's
in
closer to
Tewksbury. We're not live in
37,000.
Chelmsford yet.
yes, we are. On Thursdays, it's 2 hours.
Oh, so, well, okay. 31,000 in Tewksbury.
Yeah, I think that's low, too. I think they're more than that.
Likely. Back to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a while ago.
So,
But, I mean, we were talking about different kinds of food. There's a lot of articles that's out there on Google, and there's a lot of opportunity that if you have your cell phone or you have a computer and you're looking for places to go to eat, there's articles all the time that's out there on what to eat, where to go, what's the best, and so forth. On Facebook, somebody asked, besides a couple of the restaurants that's in Chelmsford, where would you go for prime rib? And it was the Village Inn in Drake-It, so.
Oh, yeah, that's where you go.
So Glenn and I are going to try to figure out when we have time to go there, and I don't
That's
know
a
if
good-
I'm going to have the prime rib, but I think that would be something to try.
I've had the prime rib there. It's very good.
The prime rib at Princeton Station is very good.
Yes, it is.
I'm waiting for the steakhouse to open up in Chelmsford. I mean, haven't we been waiting for like 2 years?
We may be dead before that opens up.
Yeah, well, you never know.
But the Sweetheart Inn has a nice prime rib, too.
And if you like the barbecue stuff, you got the smokehouse, and that's right behind where Fishbones is.
Kind
You
of
got
wine.
these two, Ev.
It's called Being Very Careful with Money.
Yes.
Bart, what kind of wine goes good with meatloaf? Red.
Red, right?
I got to ask Bart, did you have icing on your birthday cake? Or like Sam, they didn't do birthday parties at your house?
Well, when I was very short, okay, because I'm not short, I'm 5'8", but when I was, I would say, from 3 up that I can remember to maybe about 8, my mother would pay the lady across the street from my grandmother to make me a doll cake. So
What's a doll cake?
it's a cake with a doll in it. So,
Oh, okay.
so maybe John can look that up.
A doll cake?
Doll
Yeah,
cake.
D-O-L-L, doll cake. So you have a doll.
D-O-L-L-D?
No, a doll. You know,
Like
like a doll the kid plays with?
D-O-L-L.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You added a D to it the first time.
I'm sorry, cake. So,
Doll cake.
and so the cake is the dress in frosting.
Oh, yeah.
And underneath is the cake. So when you, and then.
Yes.
The doll is in plastic, so you don't get all the frosting on
When,
the cake.
I think it was one of my girls. So this would have been 35 years ago.
Well, and in my case, it's a lot.
I
it's
remember
60.
Betty Hansen.
Yeah, these are beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
Yes,
these.
there's the doll cakes.
Betty Hansen made a doll cake,
Wow.
and it was beautiful. And I remember that. Yeah, that's exactly right. You have the doll, and then the cake
Yep.
is the
So
is
the
dress.
doll's fake, but you eat this part.
Yes, you eat the bottom.
Right.
And then you have the frosting that goes up and over the body as if it was part
Yep.
of the dress.
I remember.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah.
A guy question.
I think it was Allison
A guy
had
question.
the doll cake.
Are the boobs frosting?
Oh, jeez, here we go.
No, you have the plastic doll,
Just wondering.
and then you cover it with the
You
frosting.
don't think that's a guy question, Sam?
Of course it
Well,
is.
yes, but it wasn't something
Yeah.
that I ever thought about.
I would
So-
not have said that, though. But that's okay.
Keep it going.
I posted a thing on Facebook the other day. This guy says, when I see a woman, the first thing I look at is her heart,
There you go.
disguised by her boobs.
Yeah, well, if he can see the
I
heart,
got a
then he's
kick
got
out of
X-ray
that.
vision.
That's a good one.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so that's what I had. And I think I had birthday parties with a few friends. Sometimes it was for lunch. So in elementary school, we'd come home for lunch. You know, my mother would put out lunch, and then all the girls would all go back to school. Or it would be on a Saturday or something, but it wasn't the big stuff that kids have today.
Oh, my God, it's over the top.
Yeah,
Some
you
of
rent
these
halls.
kids.
So, there's a lot in terms of parties and cakes
Yeah.
and catering and all that stuff. But what I was saying was that on Google, there's a lot of different articles. And last week, there was one, and John asked me, well, where did that come from? And the site is called Vegout, Vegout. And this week, the article that this online magazine, I'll call it that, I don't know if that's what it is, had 8 cheap meals from the 70s now passed off as upscale comfort food. I thought that was kind of cute, because
I'll have to
there's
read
really
that.
nothing new.
No, they
It's-
just changed the language.
Right, meatloaf was on that list.
Yeah.
Macaroni and cheese was on that list, because you can make it upscale by
Mm-hmm.
adding lobster to it. I don't know why anybody would waste the lobster in mac and
You know,
cheese.
it's funny you say that, because we don't go to restaurants that often. So, yes, I agree with that.
The steakhouse in Chelmsford, Carvel ice cream cakes are one of the best. I always buy one.
They still
bought
have
one of
those?
Yes.
Okay.
A Stop and Shop probably has them. Market Basket has them, and they're different sizes. And they are with the cookies, the crushed
I
cookies on
find
the
they're
inside.
rock hard.
Well, you're supposed to let them sit out a little.
I don't want to sit. I want to bring it home and eat it.
Well, by the time you get home, it should be softer.
That's not.
So and there used to be a Carvel ice cream cake place up in
Drum
Drum
Hill.
Hill, and they went out of business. And they had different sizes of everything, that to a single serving up to, as big as you want it. I used to go there and get them.
Lackluster tasted Carvel ice cream cakes, but that's just my taste buds. So what steakhouse? You Chelmsford is over there.
You know,
Okay,
if
what
you know where,
I'll let
center of town, if you know where,
Say 'em first.
if you know where Fishbone's restaurant is, right in the center of town, it's the old Odd Fellows building that's right next to Fishbone's, and it's been renovated. And upstairs are apartments, and downstairs will be the steakhouse. And it looks like they're very, very close to opening. The last couple of months, they've had workers in there doing the interior.
So you
and
don't know
finishing
if they have a
stuff.
good steak there.
No, because they're not yet open, but they said they were going to, this was 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay, so if you ever have a steak today,
A steak?
Where would you go?
in Chelmsford, where are you going to go? Sam's going home. Okay, Evelyn, where you going?
Princeton Station.
Yeah, you could go to Princeton Station if you wanted a barbecue style of,
Oh,
of
yes.
steak. You go to the Smokehouse.
Smokehouse is
The
good.
Smokehouse
Where's the
is
Smokehouse?
on Boston Road, and
No help.
it's
They're like Zares or something? What
The old Stop and Shop in the center of town.
and it used to be Purity Supreme.
It used to be Purity Supreme.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, I know
Stop
where that
and
is.
Marshall's.
That area.
Off of Summer
that plaza.
Street.
So
Right.
do I go towards Boston to get to it?
No, it's
Yes.
right.
It's right in the center?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
it's right behind CVS.
Oh, wait a
It's a-
second, is
it's
it
a-
next to the exercise?
Across
place?
from the library.
Yes. It's a 3-minute.
Been there,
It's a
lackluster.
3-minute walk from my house.
You've been to the barbecue place?
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't like it?
Glenn liked it.
Oh, I like it.
And I don't
Because I-
order barbecue, so
I think,
But you
you're
gotta like,
right, Princeton Station,
you gotta
but-
like ribs, though.
the European, no, it's not the European name, what the hell, they call it the ambiance or whatever, some kind of breakfast, they call it some kind of a treat, they call it now. It'll come to me.
well, when we go to that restaurant
The
to get,
establishment,
yeah, they're
Yes.
very good.
Yeah,
the
that's good.
establishment has
Yep.
Yeah, we'll go over there tomorrow
yummy
night.
stuff, the
Yeah, that's good.
establishment.
And the establishment also has rooms you can rent,
Yes,
spaces.
upstairs,
Yep,
yep.
and then they can cater that, and then you have to ask always about prices. And they've gradually changed, because originally, we didn't like it at all, when they first started. And I think it's my
It used to be
niece's
used to be
in-laws that own it.
Bainbridge's.
Well, Bainbridge's wasn't so bad.
No, that
because
was good. And then
they had a salad
Yeah.
that was in a pineapple of some sort. So when we had the Crafters Limited Shop in the mill, in that complex, many times I'd go over to Bainbridge's and get a salad, because it was really good. It was a chicken salad that had a lot of pineapple and different things. So that was a long time ago, like 20 years.
Now that I was going to say a minute ago, and you just said it again. I find this very interesting. So now, when you go into a restaurant, a lot of times they have the so-called salad bowls, and then they charge you extra. They say add a protein, right?
Yes.
So you can add chicken or steak tips or
Shrimp,
shrimp or whatever.
salmon.
Yeah, and that's a meal. you know? I
Right,
mean,
but now you're right up there with all of the
well,
expensive meals, like $25.
That's my point. So when we were at the Common Man a week or so ago, I'm looking at the menu and they have those things. And I said to my wife, she says, well, I think I'll have a salad bowl with the, and I said, for the same price, you know, once you get done adding the chicken or the steak or whatever it is you're going to add to the salad bowl, I said, you might as well have a meal, right? Because you're talking about $1 difference in price. So.
That's what I always try to do, is to balance it out in terms
Yeah.
of what the cost is. Glenn thinks I'm nuts. So
Well, you want to get good value.
if I have a
For your
salad,
money.
all I'm having is a salad. I'm not putting anything on it.
That's how I feel too. Yeah,
And
exactly.
the salads are the highest profit margins in a restaurant.
Absolutely. Absolutely right.
In case anybody wants to know, because I like a wedge salad, and depending upon the restaurant, they vary from $10 up to $15. And you're getting a quarter of a lettuce.
That's it.
So if a lettuce is $2 at Market Basket, you're getting 50 cents worth of lettuce. I don't think anybody else does this analysis except maybe me. So I figure out how much it's costing for the meal and whether or not I really want it that badly. But if I can't see anything else on the menu that I can eat, because some things just don't agree with me the older that I get, so I have to be cautious. So it's kind of interesting.
That's
So
that's how I feel about desserts at a restaurant.
Oh, I don't
Now-
eat dessert
now
at a
you
restaurant.
talk about profit margin on a dessert.
Yeah, well,
you
I don't
know,
eat dessert.
Charge you $10 for a little bowl of ice cream.
Well,
or,
Sam,
know.
you have not been to Good Times Dessert, have you?
No, I have not.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but you're into
You'll
desserts.
change. No, I get the dessert because of the dessert they have there.
Okay, so what do they have?
Well, maybe you just go and get the dessert.
They have delicious stuff.
Right, but
I
what
encourage you
kind?
just, they have pie, cake, ice cream.
Is it all made on the premises?
Yes.
Where is it?
I don't think the ice cream is made on the premises, but
Where is it?
It's
Good
in
Times, it's up
Wilsonville.
by St. Patrick's Cemetery. Remember where the old Dairy Queen was?
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay.
Kind of up by there. And they have delicious desserts there.
Well, maybe you go just for the dessert.
Is the Elm Street ski jump gone? Yes, it's election season. The city manager found a way to fill in the hole that's been there his entire term
There you go.
because it's election season. Yes, the homeless will be back on November 5th. Now, how is Gibbet Hill in Groton?
Good, very good.
I think it depends on what you order, like in every restaurant.
Good restaurant.
I've been there a couple of times in my lifetime. That's where your daughter had her wedding.
250 people.
And
And you were there.
Yes, and I thought that was done very well.
It was.
So it's a venue. If you have a
Would that set
wedding,
you back,
anniversary,
Sam?
birthdays.
Well, I'll tell you.
We're listening.
You know my daughter.
Everybody shut the hair dryers off, everything
So
right
they
now.
were, and of course, my son-in-law has a huge family, and we knew it would be a cast of thousands and
That
so
wasn't the
forth.
question.
Okay, but
He's setting the stage.
I'm leading up to it, so she comes to us and says, well, what can you do in terms of money? And I said, I'll give you $10,000. And my wife says, I'll give you $10,000. So she got 20 grand from us, but it was more than 20,000. And we said, if you want to go over that, you're going to have to make it up yourself. So I'm going to estimate they probably spent, I'm going to say probably 30.
The audience predicts Sam
Yeah.
wasn't cheap with the wedding.
No, but well, we didn't pay for the whole thing. That's my point. Okay, we gave her a limit, and it was 250 guests. Okay, so it was a big wedding, and I'm going to say they spent between 30 and 40,000. I'm going to guess. You know, so we paid for probably about half, and she paid for the rest of it. That's what we told her. Said, you know, we're not made of money. This is what you get. And that's a lot of money. But I know people who spend 100,000, 150,000 on a wedding, which, in my
I think
opinion,
that's wasted money.
I think it's obscene. I'd rather, if I had that kind of money, I think
Buy a
I'd say,
house.
yeah, here's money for a down payment on a house or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I just, you know. And it was, Evelyn said that the wedding was well done, and it was. There was only one problem. I never got a piece of wedding cake. And I have no idea how that happened. My wife and I never got a piece of cake.
I don't even remember. You
Don't
would
know,
remember it.
don't know how that happened.
Aha, Grand Slam, Mr. McD. Good time desserts are out of this world, to quote Sam.
Okay, so,
I've gone up there and everybody else gets a meal, I get a dessert.
well, there you go. Why
Oh,
not?
Delicious stuff.
Does your cardiologist tell you can still eat all those
My
desserts?
cardiologist, I tell him I had a pallbearer.
Well, you know my theory
It
on,
doesn't have to do with weight.
you know my theory on doctors, right?
Please tell me.
Find a fat doctor, okay?
Find a fat doctor.
Yeah.
You can find.
It's
well,
like my
I'm
mother.
not going to go down there.
My mother-in-law was a
I will
smoker.
insult
My mother-in-law was a smoker, and it took her a year to find a doctor who smoked.
Dr. Fred Loughran.
Yeah. Was he a smoker?
Yes, oh, I love
Okay.
Dr. Loughran. He was a wonderful
So she
guy.
found a doctor who smoked, and
Yeah,
I
my
said,
cardiologist
"What are
doesn't
you
smoke."
doing?" She says, "I don't want to be lectured by my doctor on why I shouldn't smoke." So she found a smoker. I said, "Well, following that logic, I'm going to find an overweight doctor, okay? Because I don't want to hear about diets."
They talk about it, and
Yeah.
it was funny because they sent my father to a dietitian. He looked at the dietitian and said, "I don't think you are very useful for me," because the dietitian was extremely overweight.
I love it. See now, that's your father did the right
That was, that could have been just a single issue.
Yeah.
And it could
Find
have
an
been
overweight
other medical-related
Yeah.
situation. But that's what he said. And my father was not heavy, at all. I mean, when he died, he might have been 110 pounds. I
I'm
mean,
wearing
it was
his. I'm
awful.
wearing his coat.
So, but he never weighed much more than 140 or 160, except when he was in the Marine Corps, when he was young. And it
Oh,
was
he
all
wasn't.
muscle.
He wasn't.
And he was only
I was going to say he wasn't that.
5'7".
He wasn't that tall. Yeah.
No, Dad was 5'8", but over time he shrunk. My mother is still living at 104. I have concluded that,
Well, he lived to be 100.
yes, well, he gave up. He said, "I just can't do this anymore."
The government's coming out with new obesity reports.
I saw that.
Everybody in America will be obese. Everybody.
Well, good, then we're all candidates for gastric bypass. They got to be careful what they say. On one of my records, it made a comment, and I asked a question, and he goes, "Well, it has to do with your weight and your height." I said, "So you're telling me that since I build stone walls, I'm lifting things all the time, that you're not actually measuring the fat, you're just measuring a ratio and making an assumption?" I said, "Doesn't muscle weigh more than fat?"
It's all nonsense. It's nonsense. Everybody's body
That
is
BMI
different.
index?
Everybody's body
Body
is
mass
different.
index is crazy.
Right.
So we've talked about all this other stuff, but we haven't talked
nonsense.
about politics. So
I like this doll cake.
Yeah.
This is nice.
I'll tell you, when they're done properly, it's pretty effective.
I mean,
They're very pretty.
There's
Yeah.
one cut up there. Right here.
Batter bowl doll cake.
Cool. But,
Now, see, if you didn't know that was a cake just from looking at
and
the
look
picture,
at this little kiddo for the size of the doll cake.
you wouldn't be able to.
It's big.
Yeah.
well, it depends on the size of the doll.
Where can you buy one of these? Or you make them?
I don't know. I know that I don't know if you can buy them anymore. Those are all made.
They're
I've never
beautiful.
made one. I never wanted to make one, but I didn't have girls either.
No, they
Betty
have-
Hansen did
They have a
one.
wedding cake here for
Yeah.
Sam. This is a wedding cake, so he gets a piece.
I never got it.
I know see how she has kind
She
of
had a beautiful cake. Very
Wide.
minimalistic.
I saw the cake, but I never got a piece of it.
Memory coming back.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the peace deal in Israel? We have about 8 minutes.
I think it's certainly tremendous progress, and you have to consider the thing within the context of the historical situation. I mean, that whole area hasn't ever seen peace. And I commend the administration. I think they did a good job. But I'll tell you what is bothering me, though. I would have preferred if they had not ballyhooed it so much. I mean, I think it's premature, and I don't mean to be a negative Nelly here, okay, because certainly we hope that this is going to hold.
Stick.
But believe me, if you understand the history of the area and you know the people you're dealing with, I think it's premature to declare victory. That's all I'm saying. So I think it's great. I think the Trump administration is to be highly commended for getting it this far. but history would suggest that this could go sideways, all right? So,
Well, I would say
I would
proceed
not
with-
be, I would not be taking victory laps quite yet. And I think that's what has caused me some concern over the past few days, is to listen to, all the victory laps that are being taken. I think it's premature, okay?
Well, I would prefer to proceed with caution.
Exactly, that's my point.
And I
Right,
didn't like the
exactly.
idea that everything was the way it
Read this
was.
one out.
I am. I worked at Bainbridge's 30 years ago. They had Vialaska on the
Wow.
menu. You don't see that anywhere
No,
anymore.
You don't. Most people probably don't even know what it is. Why don't you tell people what Vialaska is?
Well, I'm looking it up because I
Wasn't
know what.
Bainbridge's the establishment?
Yes,
Yes.
that's a location.
Bainbridge was delicious. I loved that place. There
So,
used to be the Princeton Lounge. Now it's the Princeton Station. There
That was,
Bob White's
that was
Princeton
Bob
Lounge.
White's, yeah, Bob White's.
so Vialaska is a classic French dish of veal cutlets, crab meat, and asparagus covered in a béarnaise sauce.
It's unbelievable.
And it was first served in Sweden? Yes.
Really? Sweden?
Yep, in 1897.
Oh.
So apparently,
Interesting.
and is that what, yes, and the reason it's called it is because it was prepared for King Oscar.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
So apparently what that means is it's got asparagus in it.
Oh,
So you have some.
well, howdy doody.
You wouldn't be
Yes.
able to taste the asparagus. If it's in with veal and béarnaise sauce, you wouldn't be able to taste the
Well,
asparagus.
well, you don't like asparagus. So you have
No, I don't.
asparagus, you have the asparagus tips are on the top. Okay, it's not mixed in, you place them on the top.
I would take them off.
Yeah, I know, because you don't like it. I do. I love asparagus. I could eat that every single
Two
day.
vegetables I like vegetables, there's
You
two
don't like
I don't.
lima beans
Lima
either?
beans and asparagus, nope.
And it was funny because I had picked up chickpea salad, okay? Because they also have tabbouleh, they have all kinds of different things, Greek things. And when I had never eaten it before, but I wanted to have something more vegetarian.
You
and
never had chickpeas?
Well, you do, because you have it in, I'm trying to think of what it is. Hummus.
Yeah.
So that's how you make hummus. But when I looked at it, at first I thought of you immediately, but it wasn't lima beans. They're soybeans that's in it. And
Not much flavor to a soybean.
no, but edamame is pretty good. They used a lobster tail.
At
Oh,
Bainbridge.
At Bainbridge's. That's high end. So you also can have crab meat. And if you have crab meat, if you have king crab, that's very expensive because there aren't that many of them anymore.
Now, see, my palate isn't very discriminating, and I'm not a big lobster person.
Oh, I love
But
lobster.
I cannot tell the difference between lobster and crab meat.
Oh,
To me, they taste the same.
They don't, for me.
No, I know, for
Crab
most
meat-
people, they don't, but to
Crab
me, they
meat
do.
is a much sweeter meat, and it will flake so that it's, and lobster doesn't do that. Lobster comes in like chunks.
Chunks, yeah. My mother
and-
used to make crab meat salad.
And my father used to buy the fake crab meat because the other
Fake
stuff.
crab meat?
Well, yeah, it's like
They come out of a peanut butter jar?
No, it's made out of like some kind of, I think, a whitefish. I'd have to look it up
So it's not
online.
real crab?
No, it's not real crab, but the way that they make it, it looks like it is.
Okay.
And they flavor it, I would
Fake
assume,
crab
with
meat.
whatever it is and that. But you've also had my baked fish.
Yeah, that's
And,
good. Well, I like fish generally, but I'm not a big shellfish person.
Oh, I like all of it.
You know?
I like all the seafood stuff. Not everybody in my family does. Glenn does.
Well, he's a salmon guy.
Well, he likes the salmon, but I do cod, and when I do that, I made that for you guys
Yeah, cod
one
is
night.
good.
And I made salmon for you guys also, because I did
Yeah,
it in the
salmon's
microwave.
a-
Yeah, I didn't bake it.
Depends
when
on how
you bake
it's
the salmon, it's too
prepared.
dry. So you have to be careful, among other things.
Well, it's
So
like
we've
tuna.
talked about, this is turning into a
food
food
show.
hour.
All right.
Before we have our guests, which I don't mind, because if we're going to do that, I'll do a few other things. But I did want to, kind of discuss that, and the fact that we don't seem to have people out there now because of all the demonstrations on the Free Palestine. I said to Glenn, just wait a while. They're going to change whatever their little thing is about the Middle East, because they were like Free Palestine and all this other stuff, and this does provide for an area for Palestine.
Have you noticed lackluster reporting on the issue?
There wasn't anything on this on regular stations, local stations, because we switched
Well, I
to
didn't
4,
hear-
5, and 7.
They
There
cut
was
up-
nothing.
They cut up Trump's speech, because Trump said, for the first time in my memory, we have peace in the Holy Land. I never heard Holy Land again on any of the broadcasts.
Did you watch
It
his
was
whole?
always the Middle East, the Middle East, the Middle East.
Did you watch the whole speech that he gave to the Knesset? It lasted about an hour. I did. I watched the whole speech because I knew if I didn't do that, it would be misreported, okay?
Well, it was misreported.
Because of course, yeah, they pick and choose, but I don't think Trump is the best speaker because his speeches generally are way too long and he rambles. But I'm going to tell you, this speech that he gave to the Knesset, probably the best speech I've ever heard him give. Because he spent a lot of time giving a lot of other people credit for stuff. And I like that.
Well,
Okay?
when they did the
And
Charlie Kirk Memorial,
and-
he
and-
didn't read it. He gave it to somebody else to read.
I did not hear that, but I watched the speech to the Knesset, and I thought that was probably
The
one of
Knesset is the Senate in Israel.
the legislature, right. And I think that is probably, in my opinion, probably the best speech he's ever given. And it was very well done, and he was very well received in Israel.
This year was a banner year for veggies in the garden. Please
Really?
tell us what you
Not
planted.
so much so tomatoes.
But what about the drought conditions? Didn't that
It
affect?
depends on if they watered.
Well, that's true, you know.
And did you use fertilizer and did you use
So you
different
use
kinds
treated
of,
water.
did you use the natural repellents for insects? Did you start with lettuce in the early spring and work your way, and do you have pumpkins? My son Philip, my middle son, had a garden this year, and he had a lot of pumpkins. So I'm hoping I can get some so
Now
I can
what's-
have real pumpkin pie. Not that anything else is fake, it's just better when you grow your own
Yeah, my
pumpkin.
mother used to make real pumpkin pie. Yeah,
I like to do that, because what I do is I roast the pumpkin.
If it's there, I'll try a slice.
I love pumpkin pie.
I should be making more stuff so that you can taste it. But Ellen makes, I'm not trying to challenge anybody to, like a bake-off type of thing, it's not worth it. One of the things before we leave, because I'm not sure, I know Jay said he was coming, so we'll see.
He'll be here.
Is he here? He's here. Oh, good. So Dr. Lang is here, and we,
Park this car.
yep, and we will be taking a break in about a minute and a half. But I did want to tell you that most senior centers will have a newsletter, and this is Chelmsford's newsletter. They'll mail it to you. And as far as
You can
what's the
probably get it online, too. right?
Yes. And there's a lot of stuff online. I did compliment Debbie Serrani, that's the director, on the website, and I made some suggestions. And I said, we can sit down. I says, I'll go through it, and I'll tell you how to make it more user-friendly. But there's a lot of information in this, and they also sell advertisements. So when you sell advertisements in the back, basically it's lawyers, it's funeral homes,
Funeral homes.
it's, medical stuff, and assistants and stuff. I thought that was
Well-
kind of interesting.
More information is better than,
Too little.
in the last minute or two, can I get one thing in before
Go
Jay
right
gets
ahead.
here? I want to commend Rockland Trust for the virtually seamless way that they transitioned the Enterprise Bank accounts over to their platform. In my corporate life, I've gone through at least 10 or 12 system upgrades and conversions, and there's always problems, always.
Sam, I gotta go, let's.
This thing, Rockland, you did an outstanding job getting your Enterprise Bank customers converted over to your platform. I've never seen anything like it, okay? And I just want.
Richly agree, they changed the signs out, miraculous.
No, I mean, I fired
sign out
up,
front
I
store.
fired up on October 14, and all my accounts had migrated over, everything, they never missed a trick. And all of the routing numbers and for direct deposits were changed. Shout out to Rockland, you guys did a fantastic job.
Jay Lang. So, we're going to break.
Yep.
So that you can get Jay?
Morning, Jay. You're right there. Thanks.
Take your time.
Yes, it's not raining outside.
Go
Uh-oh. There you go.
Welcome back to City Life. I'm Evelyn Thoren. I am your host for the next approximate 57 minutes. And Sam Chase is back with us as my co-host, and welcome back, Sam.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming back.
Not more than I do. I really appreciate coming back, believe me.
Better than the alternative.
Yes.
Yes. And so we have, our guest with us this morning is Dr. Jay Lang, who's the Superintendent of Schools in
Thank you,
Chelmsford.
Evelyn.
And
Thank
we
you.
do welcome
Sam,
you
happy to be here.
and to ask
See
all
ya.
kinds of questions about everything. I mean, you did ask what we talked about the first hour. We talked about food, all kinds of food. And what we're going to do is Sam, if it fits into Sam's schedule, John and I are going to visit all the different senior centers
Okay.
in the Merrimack Valley.
And you've already started.
Well, yeah,
You
and
did
he
one.
said he's doing it
Yeah.
alphabetically. So we went yesterday to Chelmsford and had lunch, and we'll do an analysis when we're done and show pictures and see what the differences are, and
When I do the announcement, we'll talk about this.
yes.
There you go.
So I just wanted to bring people along if you weren't with us the first hour, but that also leads into the Chelmsford Public Schools, because when I was there, they basically did meals in each of the cafeterias.
Okay.
in the kitchens, and then they deteriorated, and then they decided they'd do something different. So what is the current process for delivery of food, and do the kids pay, and are they doing breakfast? So you can cover the whole
I'll
range,
give you-
because a lot of people don't know.
That's good
Yeah, I'll give you a
information.
quick overview if you like. So things have changed over the years, and thanks John and Sam and Evelyn for having me back this morning. Happy to be here. It's a beautiful, chilly day, but it's a good day. So with food in Chelmsford, actually our school nutrition department does, I think, a great job of providing both breakfast and lunch to all of our students. At some point during COVID, I don't remember the exact time, but lunch was basically moved to be no cost. So breakfast
For everybody.
For everybody, yeah. So it used to be if you qualified for free and reduced lunch, you could have that. And we also had paid options for kids, but probably for at least three years at this point, maybe going on 4. Breakfast and lunch has been provided free to all students across the state. This isn't just Chelmsford. So we have kids have a breakfast and a lunch option at each of their schools. At our 2 middle schools and the high school, they have full functioning kitchens. We actually, over the last 5 years, have renovated all 3 kitchens. So Parker and McCarthy in the high school have beautiful new kitchens and serving areas for the students. And they actually do like scratch cooking in the kitchens there. Primarily the high school, although sometimes it is the 2 middle schools as well. They will make the meals that are then served at the elementary schools. So they're produced at the high school, and then they're driven over to the elementary schools on a day-to-day basis. And so again, the food is prepared on site. It's our food, but they're actually just not. We don't have functioning kitchens, largely because of staff at the 4 elementary schools. So it's made off-site at the high school, again, primarily, and then brought to each of the 4 schools. And breakfast is very similar. Most of the breakfast options are kind of grab-and-go, quick options, cereals, things along those lines. Nancy Antolini and our food service staff do try to change up the menu a little bit for the little kids, because again, we don't have a lot of time for them to say go to the caf and have a big breakfast like they have for lunch. Sometimes it's actually like in the classroom as they're getting ready to get the day started, so you don't want to have a lot of messy type items. But it's more of those kind of grab and go type things for breakfast. But lunches are really excellent at all of our schools.
And I was going to,
The staff can if they like to, yes. The staff do have to pay. There's a nominal fee that the staff would pay to buy a lunch, but kids
No.
don't pay.
not statewide, they don't pay.
Well, staff always have. I mean, the meal subsidies that we receive from the government to provide kids with their breakfast and lunch, not adults, it's a nominal fee. I mean, if they want to, but staff do have to pay. Excuse me? It's not significant. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's. I might sample. I might sample, but I don't have a full meal. It's a couple of dollars.
I was going to, I think you answered the question, because I was looking at my granddaughter, Charlotte, is at the McCarthy, 7th
Okay.
grade. I was looking at her schedule yesterday, and of course, they have a block, it's blocked out for lunch, so they have but I didn't see anything for breakfast. But I see you kind of answered it. You said it was more
Yeah.
like grab and go.
It's grab and go. So like at the middle schools as
Yeah.
well, just because the day is so packed with different
Right.
activities. Oftentimes the CAF staff will actually set up kind of kiosks throughout the building where the kids come into the school.
Okay.
So they can stop by, they can grab, again, I've seen like assorted cereals, things along those lines. Sometimes it'll be like a muffin or a bagel, something like that. They can just grab it at the kiosk and then go to their room, and kind of as they're getting ready, they're doing the warm-up activities for the morning, they eat and then they start
All right,
the day.
okay, that
But they
answers
don't
that
actually officially go to the cafeteria for a full
Right.
breakfast. It's more classroom-based.
Okay, and that makes sense. And I didn't ask Charlotte about it, but so but I know my grandchildren are all in the schools, and they typically, occasionally they may bring something for lunch, but I'm going to say 90% of the time they're taking.
The food is very good.
I think so. I'm
yeah, it
very
really
impressed, my grandchildren are not picky eaters, but they are somewhat discriminating, so if the food
Right.
weren't that good, they wouldn't take it, and they generally do eat the school lunch, so.
Yeah. Well, when
Yep.
you're doing your food tours of senior centers, if you'd like to come by, we can try food in the, at the high school. I think we talked about that previously, too.
Oh, yeah. That
So we
might
can
be
do that. But
interesting.
it's, when you get to the middle schools and the high school, there are
Yeah.
multiple options that the kids can pick from each day. It's not just one designated meal.
Oh, the meal-
So there's just
yeah.
a lot more choice, and the kids really do love it. At the elementary school, just because of the size and the fact that we're producing off-site and bringing it down, typically there's like one or two, three little choices for meals. But the kids really do seem to rave about it when they get to the middle and the high school because there's just much more choice.
And the food production areas, like you said, not in the elementary, but I think it was a year ago or so, I had you on my show, and after the show, Jay said, would you like to see the new kitchen?
Oh, yes.
And so
that was over at Parker.
Yeah, Parker, and I toured, and I was absolutely blown away at the, how well-equipped the kitchen is. And so I think, you are in good shape in terms of being able to produce.
Yeah, we
good
completely
meals.
renovated, again, those three big kitchens. Parker was actually done during COVID.
Yes.
And we took advantage of the shutdown because kids weren't in school.
Now,
so
did
we
you get
actually-
any ARPA money for that?
No, because
No?
we had actually, that was a combination of food service revolving fund.
Okay.
And,
What part of the show?
and town meeting.
What do we got today?
Well, this is store-bought because I ran out of time yesterday, so that could be the pumpkin.
Store-bought.
Yeah, only
I
because
can't believe
I
it.
wanted to bring something. I didn't bake it. I didn't
John,
bake it.
that's it.
Any Tom, Dick, or Mary would have this.
Yes, that's correct.
Evelyn, this is a first. Evelyn Thoren brought in store-bought baked goods.
Well,
I don't believe it.
My youngest daughter-in-law had
$4.20.
it, and it had eggs in it, and and the kids had brought it home from some event, and she says, I can't have this in the house, it has eggs in it.
I should have known because there was no glaze on there.
I always
Yeah,
do some
there
glaze.
you go.
Well, last week, what you missed was I had an almond cranberry with an orange glaze. That was the one I made
Just
last
when-
week. And I kind of make it up as I go along,
Sure.
but
So this proves something, folks. I'm 78 years old. Just when you think you've seen everything, here's something new. Evelyn Thoren shows up with store-bought baked goods. I never thought I'd see
right, but I
that.
didn't buy them. I wasn't going to bake it
It's
all.
all right. They
And
were
and
given
then
to you.
Amy said, why don't you just take this? Use this. I said, but I didn't make it. She goes, just take it, Evelyn.
There
I
you
don't
go.
want it in the house.
There you go.
So I thought it was interesting. And I did debate on putting a glaze on it or having a cream cheese type of layer,
Yeah.
frosting layer, because you can do that on these, because mine are very moist.
Yeah.
So they fall apart. This isn't.
So,
So
well,
we'll see how it
getting
goes.
back to the school thing, so.
Yes. So food is really great.
So food is very
Yep.
good. You guys are welcome to come try sometime.
We'll just have to do that.
Yeah, the kids do very much like it. Oh, so we're talking a little bit about the kitchens.
Yeah.
Parker came online right after COVID.
That's right.
It took a summer to do McCarthy, and then last summer, not this 2 months ago, a year ago, we did the high school kitchen.
Yeah, that
And
was,
that was a huge undertaking, but it really came out great.
It did, and I remember there was a little bit of contention on that, because some of the capital money was committed to that.
There was. We had to go back to capital twice. We've had to do that
Yeah.
for a few projects lately, both in the schools and the towns, just because of sometimes, we go out and get estimates and work to put budgets together for projects a year or two out as we're trying to get into the capital pipeline. And we had just a lot of price fluctuations. Things seem to be getting a little bit more back into check now. But again, after COVID and things like that, some of the construction costs were just all over the place as far as
But-
being able to access materials
Yep.
and labor costs and things along those lines.
But you're also working in conjunction with our DPW
Oh, yes, yeah, that's
folks on
it's
this.
a joint project with
And I think that,
DPW.
and not to cast any aspersions on the school department, because I think you guys have a very good reputation for when you do projects, but I think it also lends more credibility to the integrity of the project when you have folks from the DPW, because we have a very professional DPW. I mean, our director, Christine Clancy, she herself is a registered professional engineer,
Yep.
okay? And she has built, over the last 2 or 3 years, she has built an excellent staff. in terms of program management, engineering, and so forth. So whenever you get her folks involved in a project, that just makes it better, I think.
Right.
That's just my
Well,
opinion.
any of the
Yeah.
physical capital projects we do, we always
Right.
do in coordination with DPW. There are
Right.
just so many projects that take place over the summer between schools and town properties that we kind of divvy up just the oversight and the checking in on them. But no, the high school project really came out very nice in the kitchen.
Well, the DPW has always been a part of, well, I should say always, but in my history, when I was on the school committee and then since that point, has always stepped up to help whatever's going on within the schools, on the school property. When South Row, when I was the school committee liaison to South Row, and they were putting in their playground. This is when they did
I
Chelmsfordopoly.
remember, that was quite a thing, I remember
And
that.
Stop and Shop first came to Chelmsford and helped tremendously. Their management was wonderful. With regard to that, DPW did a lot of work
They did.
there because of the drainage issues.
Yep.
There was a lot of different things that they did besides some of the rest of
And
us that was out
the South
there.
Row project, if I remember correctly, there was an awful lot of citizen involvement in that, the parents of the South Row.
PTO stepped up.
That's what I'm talking about, the PTO.
It was,
thank you.
well, they raised a lot of money. And they did a lot of, they did a lot of
I remember-
fundraisers.
I
Like
think it was
said,
Danielle Evans, I think she was very instrumental in
And
that.
Kathy Poisson, and
Yes,
there
and-
was a few others.
Yeah.
I hate to mention anybody's name because I know we're going to leave people out that
That's all right.
really worked very, very hard on
They all
that.
did. It was an unbelievable effort on the part of the PTO.
Even I showed up to put a shovel in
So,
the,
Yeah, the PTOs are, I mean, I'm sure they were instrumental in that particular project. That one predates me.
So for the
But-
audience, PTO is Parent Teacher Organization, okay, that's what
Right.
it stands for. So it's parents who get together and they help the schools, with bringing off some of their programs and a lot of volunteer work, and that's the thing in Chelmsford that's always amazed me. And I'm sure it's the same in other communities, but I don't think I've ever seen it to the degree that you see it in Chelmsford. The number of people who step up and volunteer their time, they're not compensated, and in many cases, they even contribute their own money to these things, to make the programs better in Chelmsford. And I think your school relies heavily on the PTO.
Yeah, the PTOs are a
participation.
super resource. As
Yes.
you mentioned, like the volunteerism piece, but
It's
they
unbelievable.
run a lot of, some of the enrichment activities at the buildings. They do a lot of fundraising. This is a huge weekend coming up in town, particularly at our elementary levels. We have, South Row has, they call the, I know I'm going to get it wrong. Let
the
me look.
pumpkin fair?
Yeah, it's got a particular name.
Pumpkin
though.
Fair.
Oh, they changed it?
No, I just don't want to get it wrong.
It's all right.
It's the Pumpkin Fair. So the South Row Pumpkin Fair is Saturday, you were right, Evelyn, at 11. And then Harrington has their Trunk or Treat event at 4 in the afternoon. And then Sunday, Byam has their Boo Bash at 1 in
Boo
the
Bash.
afternoon.
I like the name.
So all the elementary schools do a theme, and I just don't have it on my calendar, but Center has like a Trunk or Treat event. But this is a huge kind of Halloween themed weekend. But the PTOs sponsor a lot of the activities. They purchase a lot of the different candy and giveaways for the schools. They make games out of it. So it's a lot of fun. But the parents put in a lot of time and effort and funds to really support the enrichment activities that happen in the schools.
They've been doing things like that for
Forever.
a long time.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you said, but there's a lot of stuff in my history that predates you because
Right.
I think I was only on the school committee 2 years when you first got on.
You're also older.
Yes.
I just thought I'd throw that.
Yes, but I'm not the oldest in the room.
No, you're not.
And Jay is the youngest. So we don't need to talk about it. Age I will share, not sharing weight.
No, you never do that.
No, don't need to do that. But when we talk about different projects, one of the things that I noticed at Parker, they did have one of those station things that was out front. And a while back, I noticed it was gone. Did they move it?
What do you mean by station thing?
They had a...
Oh, the fitness?
Yes, the fitness
Oh,
stations.
okay, yeah.
So there had been, some type of, I believe it was like an Eagle Scout project.
Yes.
Years ago, to do some type of a fitness element out in front of Parker School. It just, over time, the material had just deteriorated.
Yeah, it was all
to
metal.
a point where it was just breaking and it was unsafe. So we ended up having to remove that. It took a cycle. I think we ended up applying for some additional grant funding, but we put in a new kind of structure out in front of Parker. It's different pieces, but it's some type of a community fitness type.
It looks good.
Activity. Yeah, it's nice. The kids can use it during recess time. There's always, if you drive by there, like in the summer and the fall, there's always different sports activities, football, things like that taking place. And a lot of times the other siblings, if they're not playing in the activity, they'll be over in the park playing. But it did take us about a year and a half maybe to put the new area in, but it came out very nice.
Now, what's going on over at McCarthy? There's a lot of construction there.
Yeah. We had a very busy summer at McCarthy. Some of it's related to the school, and then some of it's also related to the police department. But just because they're on the same property,
Right.
it looks just very kind of congested, and there was a lot of activity. So at McCarthy specific, over the course of this summer, as you drove by, we ended up cutting into the island that's in the front of the school.
Yes.
To create some additional parking, because parking is very tight at that property.
And that was, I think they did a nice job with that.
Right.
That was
yeah,
nice. We were
that-
able to kind of leverage the fact
Yeah.
that next door at the police department, one of the capital projects the town had approved was resurfacing, repaving the parking lot at the police station.
Yes.
So as part of that bid that went out, Christine and DPW, they put like an add alternate on there to add the parking spaces over at the McCarthy. So the bids came in good form. We were able to actually get that done under the same project. So we got some additional parking out in front of Parker. The police department got their lot completely repaved. There's a new sidewalk being added on the
Yes.
right side. If you go by the police station, that's going to connect the front of the building if people happen to park there, but you want to access like the turf field, something along those lines.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, and then, the community room, if you have it parked in the back, you want to get to the police department room, just to provide better access.
Well, it's also safer.
And then, it is, just to get people off the roads.
Yeah. Excellent
And then the
idea.
old tennis courts at McCarthy came down. We actually ended up taking some of the trees down that were going to be impacting the new play materials that were going down. And now there's new trees being planted to replace the ones that got taken down. But there's, and this will be wrapped up before we get into the winter. So in the spring, when the ground thaws, we'll be able to fully access 2 brand-new basketball courts, 2 street hockey rinks.
Street hockey.
Street
okay.
hockey's, that's what's going in the middle. If you drive by, you actually just see these little, it kind of looks like the shape of a hockey rink.
It does,
Poured cement patches. That's where the boards are actually going to adhere to.
Okay.
So that's going to be installed mid-November. And then to the very left, the far end, up near the road, is going to be a tennis court, pickleball court combo. So you're going to have some basketball, some street hockey, tennis, pickleball, and that integrates into the skate park. So that's really going to be a great kind of extra community area. The school will use it during the day with phys ed classes, and you have the field right next door, so you've got the track and the turf. It's really becoming quite the complex.
So Jay, who's paying for this, the town or the school?
So,
Yes.
it's all, so,
Yes.
it was a special town, article a year ago to pay for, it was basically free cash, got allocated to pay for the courts. It had been a capital project that we've been trying to do for some time. The town capital also paid for the police department, paving, and town capital, again, because the bids came in attractive, paid for the extra parking spots in front of McCarthy. So it was all town capital.
Okay. Didn't come out of the school budget. Okay, we're gonna do,
Not part of the school budget
No.
direct,
it's-
and actually not part of the town budget direct. It was part of.
it was
it's
all
kind of free
taxpayer
cash
money.
and
Yes.
capital.
Yes.
filtered through different things.
Yep.
Correct.
But it came
Taxpayer.
out of the town side.
Taxpayer pays for it.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. We got a bunch of Evelyn's favorite part of the show,
I hate this.
the announcements, and Evelyn
right.
will be participating today. So, first of all, we got a card coming up for, you shrink this up so it fits.
Good picture.
Eric Gitch is having a party tonight, Thursday, October 16th, hosted by Ryan Vera. at the Wappin West Downtown Lowell, 5:30 to 8 p.m., 197 Market Street. Prices begin $25 and go up. So be there or be square. The trunk or treat, shrink this up a little bit more.
There you go, we just talked about that.
Chelmsford Dog Park Trunk or Treat,
Oh, that's the dog park.
Oh, that's the dog
Saturday,
park.
October
Vivian said
18th,
Yeah.
noon to 2 p.m., 52 Richardson Road, $5 donation per trunk. So it sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you, Vivian. Vivian also sent us this. And actually, I think Evelyn sent it to me. Chelmsford Dog Alliance presents Halloween. You're going to dress up your dog so he looks cute, or she looks cute, and they're going to have a judging thing there. A real fun time. So consider that if you have a little dog you want to dress up.
I actually was a judge for that a couple of years ago, and it's quite the cute event.
You don't have to be a Chelmsfordian. Anytime
I
you
don't
come
think
here,
you,
you
I
can
don't
bring your
think you
dog.
have to. Yeah, if you just access and use the park.
So you
but
can be
it's a
sitting in
cute event.
Tewksbury, bring your cute little dog all dolled up, you might win a prize. A big holy thing happened at St. Joseph the Worker Shrine. Shrink this up a little bit more. And it's Tuesday, October 21st, starts at 8 a.m., it goes on all day. If you want more information, go take your fancy phone out of your pocket, take a picture of this slide, and they'd love to see you. Chris and Elizabeth, Dick invite you to share a cup, caffeinated at Danielle McFadden's campaign party, Friday, October 24th, 9:30 to 11 a.m. at the Coffee Mill, downtown Lowell, 23 Palmer Street.
And she's running for city council?
She's running for school committee.
Oh, school committee, okay.
Neighborhood meetings in Lowell, Massachusetts. A lot of them don't say where they are, but the dates are down there. So if you're interested, just be in touch with your neighborhood group. They'd love to see you at their meeting. Out in Tewksbury at the senior center, we got an exceptional breakfast. You got to go hungry. It's only $10 a head, and I love going to this. It's a yummy event. You leave full, all delicious stuff. So looking forward to this. Coming up Sunday, October 26th. Now we're going to talk about food. Yesterday, and we're going to show you a picture in just a second, but today is the 16th. So if you go out to Chelmsford, you're going to have chicken primavera with mixed vegetables at the Chelmsford Senior Center. At the Drake Senior Center, they have ravioli with turkey, bolognese, broccoli, and Caesar roll. In lovely Lowell, we're having teriyaki chicken. And in Tewksbury, they're going to have the same thing, ravioli, ground turkey, bolognese, and broccoli. And so Evelyn and I, along with Dr. Glenn, went to the Chelmsford Senior Center yesterday. And for $2.50, this is what you get. So Evelyn, you want to tell us what this is?
Well, they advertised it as a chicken stir fry. If I made chicken stir fry, it doesn't look like that. But anyway, there's rice with some cut up vegetables in it. You have white chicken meat, and the chicken was very good with a glaze.
Had like
And
a
they-
honey taste to it. It was good.
Yeah, I thought the chicken was very good and very moist. You had a salad, and it had cucumbers and tomatoes added to it, vanilla pudding, and milk. So as I had said earlier, you can buy at the grocery store the frozen rice that looks just like that, and you can buy the chicken strips that look just like that
You
with
could
the
also
sauce.
grow chickens. Stick to this list. You could grow chickens.
And
can have
the
a farm,
salad is
cheese.
a pre-mixed salad mix that they added the tomatoes and the cucumbers to. That's my assessment.
What kind
That
of
is-
dressing?
I don't know, but it was flavorful,
It was
whatever it
government
was.
dressing,
It was something,
government
most
flavor.
Government dressing, okay.
government dressing. It was probably an Italian dressing. And it was wet. I don't mind having a wet salad because it adds a little bit more flavor to it. When I say wet, it means that there was a lot of dressing on it. And as a kid growing up, when my mother would put like a tablespoon of dressing on a salad that size, I like it wetter. Anyway, so that's what that was. And I'm not grading anything until I go to more of these, because this is the first time I went to the senior center. Yeah.
Lackluster.
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 You've been to more of these than I have. I haven't been there. This was the first time that Glenn and I had a meal at the
Everyone
Sur.
has raved to me, oh, Chelmsford's food's the best.
Well, I never said that, because I didn't have anything.
Wait till I see Hoey. Hoey was bragging, oh, Chelmsford's got the best.
Well, you can talk to somebody that's been there, but it depends on what meal. This is one. This is one point on a line. Or a graph. I need more reference points.
I wouldn't go back to this diner.
Well, I'm going to check it out maybe more often. But
Next
it
week,
was,
we're going to Delightful Drink.
it was interesting to go into the
What do
senior
you want
center
for
when you know.
$2.50?
I know. I mean, people knew me, or they knew the name, or they knew my grandchildren. I mean, it was really an interesting adventure going in.
Huge
No.
place, very friendly people.
Yep.
Comfortable chairs. We had real silverware, it wasn't throwaway plateware, and
And the food is made on site.
Well,
I don't
they
know.
did something on site, because
I didn't see any chickens outside or anything.
They have a
so-
kitchen.
Where do they keep their
Actually, that was
chickens?
another upgrade a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They redid their
Yeah,
whole kitchen.
they did.
At the
yeah,
senior
so
center.
you can cook in it. But to me, I think that cooking and preparing food is not always the same. Because if you preparing something means it can be pre-done, and then you can add to it.
Well, there's a
So-
big difference between quantity cooking and individual
So in
cooking.
conclusion, it was
Right.
2% milk, not bad. And then they had also this yellow stuff. It was supposed to be paya.
Yellow stuff.
It was advertised as a pay.
It was like yellow pudding, not bad. Don't know what was in it, not bad. Back over, so next week we're going to Delightful Drink It, we'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
No, 2 weeks from now, 2
Yeah.
weeks.
I have another.
Where's your final slide of the one woman with all the men? You're not doing that anymore?
He ended with the food.
Oh, you ended with the food. Okay.
Yeah, he told me he was going to, today he
Oh,
was
you
going to
want-
end
I
with the
can put
food.
that up if you really,
No, that's all right. That's one of my favorite slides.
Anyway, so
the one doing all the work.
Right.
how is the budget going? Because there were some things that you thought you were going to have to reduce. Remember, you had one-time money. 'cause
Last
you-
year?
Yeah, because they said that they were going to reduce the budget because of, or what you're
There you
looking
go.
at
Thank you.
coming up for the new budget. You know, because you're always reviewing everything that's going on. Do you see any reductions for the 25, 26,
26.
26, 27 school year?
To be seen. So, as you mentioned, like budgeting never stops. It's a continual process that we kind of go through all year. Last budget cycle for the current year, which is fiscal '26, because this year runs from, July 1, '25 to June 30, '26. So we call that fiscal '26. Was a little tighter. We had to make some adjustments to the budget. We didn't have to impact staff too greatly. And I think overall for the current year that we're in very solid shape. I have no concerns about the current year budget at all. So, that's positive. We've just started.
Just hold a
put-
thought for 1 second,
Yep.
Jay. If the seniors are getting that type of food, what are they feeding their children? That begs the idea, Evelyn, maybe we'll make a round of the schools too.
Well, we
After
might
we're
be
done
able
the
to do
senior
that, but not to go back. We did briefly discuss in Chelmsford what they were feeding the kids, and they make a lot of stuff from scratch. So we'll we'll go over and see what it is, because they redid all of the kitchen, so.
Because the folks always bragging about how good their food is, and everybody goes, back to Jay, we'll talk about nothing.
Yeah, we'll talk about food again, because we already did talk about that.
Sure. So we're just starting to work on fiscal '27, and there's multiple elements. So we talked earlier about like capital planning. That's all just starting to get underway now. We're going to have some capital plan stuff being submitted by the end of October. The capital plan committee will convene in November and early December to take a look at all the department requests, because capital plan budgeting is a piece of the budget for fiscal '27. We have town meeting coming up next Monday, so there's always several articles that relate to funding on that. There's some free cash that the town manager is recommending being allocated to certain projects. I'm sure John Souza will do a financial forecast for next year. And the forecast for the current year, 26, 27, and 28, had been projecting, and I assume still projects, some deficits.
Yes.
So we're certainly going to be looking, as a FinCom, Sam, you know that. So we're certainly going to be looking at, I think, another two, at least, very kind of tight fiscal years. The state revenue, both on the town side, which, is called unrestricted aid, and on the school side, it's Chapter 70, just hasn't been, provided at the levels that we need to basically not only sustain but grow some of our programs and services.
It's been pretty flat the last few years.
So we've been having to look at, cost-cutting measures, reductions in some areas. We're likely going to have to do that again in '27. But we'll get through town meeting next Monday. Again, we'll get through capital planning on the school side. Budgeting process typically begins around November 1st and concludes right around the holidays when we make recommendations to the school committee. Again, we start working we have some tri-board meetings coming up, which is the select board, the school committee, the finance committee, in November and December this year.
Yeah,
But
we'll have an extra one this year.
we're doing an extra
Yeah.
one, yep. But, no, that's all gonna start coming close, but I do predict, next year's gonna be tight and possibly looking at some reductions, as well as I think '28 will still be a tight year. And we have to wait and see what happens statewide too, because unfortunately, the state aid and, our ability to tax with Proposition 2.5 just isn't maintaining our year-to-year.
Well, it's not keeping pace with the
Doesn't
general
keep pace with
inflation.
the cost, right.
Right, so it's a problem, and and it's not just a Chelmsford problem. All the municipalities are
Right.
going to feel the squeeze, and cities like Lowell, who rely greatly on state aid,
Yeah.
okay, it's going to be probably more of an impact. So, the upside of not getting a lot of state aid, I guess, is that when state aid becomes less available, we're not as impacted as a city like Lowell that gets maybe 60% of its budget on state aid, whereas Chelmsford only gets about 15% of its budget on state aid. So that, if there...
It allows us to,
yeah,
I think, kind of get into the budgeting process earlier.
Right, exactly.
Swings in state aid, as you mentioned, are relatively insignificant just because of the dollar amounts that we receive.
Right, 80% of the
Right.
budget is on the property taxpayer in Chelmsford, so...
Right.
Yeah.
So, going to be a tight couple of years,
Yep.
but, we've been through this, and we'll go
Jay, how'd
through
you
the
do
process
it
again.
with MCAS?
Overall, fine. It was mixed, John,
Okay.
to be honest with you, this year. There were certain subjects and grades that excelled and I thought did a really good job. And there were some other grades and subject areas that was still really digging into the data because we only got it 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
that I would have liked to have seen do better. So it was mixed results for us this year. It doesn't, not to make excuses, but it doesn't help that the test changed again. So there was a new testing company.
Yeah, but everybody
and
got the same test.
It
so-
did, but it's hard for us to be able to look year over year at our own data because it was a different test that the kids took. But across the board, and I think you'd hear about this kind of statewide, the numbers weren't where people wanted them to be, and there were these fluctuations. And again, it's hard when I look at the data. It'd be easier to see if, across the board, you were, say, seeing a decline in math. But we didn't. We had some grade levels that actually took significant increases, others dipped a little bit. So we're still actually just kind of digging into
How's
to
reading
the
doing
data.
in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade?
Well, I mean, and I have to say, overall, I mean, I'm happy with Chelmsford's scores and where we're at and the progress that we're making. I would just like to see some more growth, some better scores in certain grades. But our elementary kids, 3rd and 4th grade is when we start the testing. Those kids are well positioned to really be at least meeting. We're trying to get the kids that are near meeting to be meeting expectations, the kids that are meeting to be exceeding. So we're continuing to push. But we actually did see some good results, some good grades at the elementary in math and ELA in particular. Middle school, 8th grade is a grade that we've been kind of focusing on, pushing a little bit. We saw some increases in math. The reading was flat. So that's what we're continuing to look at.
Now, an issue comes up on the show, not Chelmsford, but generically. I'm an advocate for a kid to stay back. And 0 kids stay back nowadays. what are the elements for a kid to have to stay, for a kid to stay back? What has to, the parent has to agree, the school has to agree, what are the issues if I just can't read? I'm doing lousy, I'm in the second grade, what's it gonna take to make me stay back?
Well, there's nothing to say that a kid can't stay back, so I
But
mean.
what are the elements to make that happen?
Well, I think the school staff would have to be on board and would have to recommend that actually retaining a child and giving them an extra year at the grade level that they were in actually makes sense. That, if the school staff feels like with additional supports or different supports, the child would be able to make the progress that they need the following year, you likely wouldn't hold them back. Parents, I have to say, all in all, for the most part, they really do work with the school staff, and typically it's a joint recommendation. I don't too often see one group saying we'd retain, another group, or the parent maybe saying, well, we want to, promote them. Usually they're on the same page. Again, there are individual cases that happen, but by and large, it's the staff working with families, seeing if the child has any deficiencies that need to be addressed. And again, it depends on the level of, I guess, how far behind they are, based on grade level expectations. But it's a conversation with each family and child.
My takeaway from what you just said, if I'm the father and I think my kiddo's doing lousy, I should go to the principal of the school and say, I think we should hold Junior back. Is that the first step I should take, or?
Well, normally what they'd be working with, it shouldn't be a surprise, right? And this, like, if a child's struggling, they're struggling all year. They're not just struggling in June when you're making the decision. So the parent should be working with the teacher throughout the course of the year. If the teacher is also identifying the child has needs, what they would normally do is what we call like an SST, a student support team. It'd be a team of regular ed teachers, special ed teachers, different specialists, would actually kind of take a look at the child, take a look at the profile, try to identify what some of the deficiencies are, put different things in place to try to help remedy the situation, but the parents involved in those discussions, they're part of those meetings. It may be a referral for, like, say, special education services. Maybe the child has a learning disability that needs to be looked at, remedied. So there are multiple steps, but it would start with the teacher, the principal, and then ultimately making a decision in the springtime.
In the 1960s, I stayed back, and I found it very helpful. I loved it. At first, my mother told me, along with the sister, that I was going to stay back. I didn't like the idea, but a month in, I said, I like this. I got this.
Yeah, it's all situational, though, John. It depends, honestly, on the kid, the grade level you're talking about. Is the child going to benefit from another year?
But I would say at Chelmsford schools, less than 5 kids stayed back.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
And Lowell is near 0. stay back.
less than a dozen.
Okay, so to put this in perspective, and again, I really don't know much about it, but I'm just listening to what you just said, and I'm remembering, to John's point, the way it was when I was in elementary school, which was in the 1950s. And the biggest difference takeaway that I get is that you try early on, at the beginning of the year and going forward, you try early on to identify situations where you think child may be falling behind or deficient in one or two areas, and you have strategies and programs that you put in place in a timely fashion, to help the child get to the point where they don't have to be held back. Okay, that's what I'm getting. So when I'm in elementary school, and I remember this vividly, okay, to John's point, it wasn't like that at all. I mean, I can remember one case. I remember this when I was in the third grade. I remember this vividly, and it was probably about the end of October. So we had been 6-7 weeks into the school year, and knock on the classroom door, and the first grade. I'm in the third grade. The first grade teacher walks into the class with a first grader, and announces to everybody, "You know what? We're putting this kid in the third grade because he's just too smart for us." I'll never forget that, okay? Now, that would never happen today. Not in a million years. Because you have the staff, you have the processes in place to track the child. So my point of my story is, in the old days, and then going in the other direction, staying back, there would have been a decision made at the end of the year, mostly by the teacher. This kid didn't cut it, stand back, okay? And maybe some interaction with the parents, but you didn't have that process, and you didn't have the level of intervention that it sounds to me, based on what you just said, that you have now. So, and I'm not criticizing anything one way or the other, I'm just saying that this is not 1955 anymore. You folks are doing things a lot differently. There's a lot more focus on individual progress or lack of progress for each child, as opposed to when John and I were in school, where they just took a look at you and said, "Hip, you didn't cut the mustard," or, "You know what, you're bored in class and you need to be advanced a level or two." I mean, this kid went in October from the first grade, put into a third grade class. Now, in my opinion, probably socially inappropriate for the child.
That's a tough one.
Okay, and I don't remember.
Young Sheldon.
Yeah, exactly, that's what we had. And as I recall, the kid did make it. I mean, he stayed in the class, but he was much younger than the rest of us, and it could not have been a good thing for him socially to do that. So I think today, I mean, I know we all, us old timers, we all like to say, well, it was a lot better in the old days, and I wish we could, but I don't think this is one of those cases. I think the way you guys do it today is much better, much more
Well,
appropriate.
Sam, listening to what you're talking about,
know-
I'm listening to New York News this morning.
Yep.
And one of the mayor candidates wants to get rid of gifted and talented.
Yeah,
programs.
Mandami, he's a nut.
And so.
Don't elect that guy, folks. Don't do it.
And
All right?
New York voters are not listening this morning.
Well, maybe if they aren't
Or they know
too bad.
people down there?
Yeah.
So, Jay, what gifted and talented things does the Chelmsford school system offer to their first to go to third grade? The smarty, the gifted
Evelyn,
children.
could you grab me a tissue?
Yeah, so I've never seen a child go from
Thank
first
you.
to third grade, just
that-
based on kind of where they're at.
That would never
But we
happen.
have, obviously, within individual, grade levels or classrooms, a spectrum of students that are at the beginning stages of a particular development, mid stages and high stages. And so we do grouping to try to really push the students who are on the higher end, give them not only the experience that the other children are getting, but extra focus, extra work, extra enrichment, extra kind of pushing. Sometimes it's called differentiation, to make sure that, a teacher is providing an extra push for those kids that already really understand a topic and want to go a little bit deeper with the other kids in the class who might just be on, say, grade level.
Hey, Sam, swap microphones with Jay, will you?
Swap microphones? Okay.
Jay,
Why are we swapping microphones?
because I'd rather hear Jay than you. Go ahead. You were dropping out now and then.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, basically, that's what we would do through elementary up into middle school. When we do hit middle school and high school, we do have different levels of courses that kids can take. So in seventh grade, math is something that breaks off. So we have multiple levels of math. We have just grade level math. We have an accelerated math. We have an honest math that could maybe push kids. That started years ago to be able to have students, when they get to the high school, if they're really math-minded and they want to get to some of the higher level calculus courses, you almost need to take some of that content in seventh and eighth grade to be able to free your schedule up when you get to the high school, to be able to take, not only Algebra 1, but you might want to actually jump into, say, Algebra 2 or trig, and then you get into calculuses. So I would say more middle and high school is when you actually get into level type classes. From the elementary up through sixth grade, it's more teacher differentiating for the group of students in front of them, challenging some of the kids that need a little extra challenge, doing a little extra support for some of the kids that might be struggling, and making sure that we're bringing the whole class along over the course of the year.
Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome.
Now, you also have, at least I've observed in the elementary grades, depending on the mix of students that you have in the class as far as their levels and abilities go, you may have extra staff in the classroom to support the teacher.
Oh, sure.
So,
Again,
and that's
I think-
something that didn't exist back in the 1950s and 60s.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
I
just have a
mean,
teacher.
we
Right.
have, the regular teacher, sometimes we have extra like para support in classrooms. We have special educators that are in the classroom, sometimes co-teaching. That happens quite a bit. We have like interventionists that might be going into rooms to work with, again, like small groups of kids. And the other thing that I've seen teachers do, sometimes on their own, even if if Sam and I are both teaching sixth grade math, let's say, and, I might actually say, Sam, I'm going to take the kids that are struggling with this concept today from my class, and I'm going to work on them here in a mini lesson. You're going to take these kids from my class and work with your class. Like, you can actually have shared classes. I'm just not responsible for the 20 kids that are in front of me the whole time.
That's good. I like that.
But teachers can, they have the luxury. And oftentimes it's relationship-based, right? So you've got to get experience with your colleagues and things like that. But there's nothing to stop a teacher from grabbing 5 or 6 kids from a particular class and reworking on something, or on the other end, I'm going to do something with these 6 or 8 kids to really kind of push them in something that they might not have thought, direction that they were going in. So there's flexible groupings, there's different ways of doing things, but we do try to make sure that, we're providing a solid baseline education for everyone. We're providing the interventions, the supplemental services we need to for some of the kids that are struggling, but we're also trying to push the students that are ready for more concepts.
I have to just quickly tell this story because I'm fascinated. So my oldest granddaughter is in the 7th grade. She's at McCarthy and she's enjoying it. So she had to stay home yesterday because she had teeth pulled in the morning, but of course they gave her the assignments and everything. So I'm over there yesterday afternoon and we're trying to help her with her assignments. So she has a class, it's called ELA, and it's sort of kind of like English and a few other things thrown in. But they were working on an assignment, a language assignment, for 1960s era slang words. And I thought, this is really cool because, of course, they're going to be reading materials from that time period, and you want them to be able to understand. So I thought, well, this ought to be good. And Charlotte says, well, Papa, she says, you can help me with this because you lived through the 60s.
Right.
And I said, well, yes, I can, but you know what? I said, the assignment is for you to look this stuff up.
Right.
And I said, that's what you're going to do. I'm not going to sit here and give you the answer, which is probably a good thing because I couldn't remember some of the words, but.
It sounds like the
yeah.
teacher was doing an exercise to like preload the vocabulary that was going to be coming up with either some kind of reading assignment
Exactly.
or writing assignment.
Right, and also know how to do research.
And and that was part of it. So I actually, looking at this thing, I was quite impressed with the material and the way they were presenting it and the direction to the child. Okay, this is, you need to look up these terms.
Right.
And they said, it was funny because they had, I don't know, maybe 25 of the so-called slang words. And the first column was, what do you think it means? So the assignment was the child had to look at the word and say, oh, it means this. And then they actually had to go look it up to see what the real meaning was. And I thought, wow, that's a good, I like that. I like that approach. I was very impressed with that.
The other thing that's very different is,
Yeah.
when I was in school and had to be out sick, like you didn't do any work that day. You had to make it up when you came back, but there's truly no makeup for something you
that's tough.
missed, whether it's
That's tough.
discussion or
Yeah.
handouts or whatnot. But again, and this I think was actually one of the positive things that kind of came out of COVID, it pushed us to all have these remote, we use Google, Google Classrooms, where the teachers load in their activities, they load up their exercises so that if a child happened to be out that day, she can still log into her classroom and find out what are the resources all the kids got that day.
And that's exactly what.
Sometimes the teachers will even load like notes, or if they do a lecture that day, they'll put the lecture into it so that kids from home, if they happen to be out, can still stay up with their classmates.
And that's exactly
when they
what
come
she
back,
did.
They're
That-
not at a
yeah.
complete disadvantage.
That's exactly what that was yesterday. So you're right, and it's great. And the pressure of being out 2 or 3 days, like in the old days, and the teacher hands you, 15, 20 papers.
And,
Well,
yeah, right.
Wait a minute, when am I going to do this? I mean, it was, unless you're out flat on your back and you physically can't do anything, but I think in her case, she had teeth pulled, all right, so it hurts a little bit, but she can still
Right.
sit up and look at the computer and get the work and actually do
You're
it.
not as far behind when you return.
Exactly. No, I was actually quite impressed with that, so.
So when they're talking about getting rid of gifted and talented, if you're going to create mediocre education, you begin to decrease an awful lot of the extra stuff. But then there's a challenge on the staff to try to step up to replace it somehow, which is what Chelmsford did. There was a gifted and talented program in the elementary schools in the 80s.
Right.
And that definitely predates you.
And they
Doesn't
did
predate me
eliminate it,
because,
yes.
my kids were there. And they did away with it because of a budgetary reason, and there was no space. They were meeting under stairwells for these particular kids. And so that was part of where that was. But staff did step up, and the people in charge of curriculum and, add more to it. And we were always told, like at the high school level for gifted and talented, you got AP courses. So. But that, you have to have a progression to get there. There is a process. It's not like you can just jump into it. But before we run out of time, you can give us an update on the Parker School
that'd be great.
project.
Yep.
And then we.
It's still an issue today, so.
Yes.
Well, one of the things is you've done the work in the kitchens,
Right.
and whether or not, any of the materials that's in the old Parker, unless we're going to repurpose and have you come up with that yet. So, Paul was
Right.
on it, he gave us an update, but we want your perspective on it and the committee and whatever.
Sure.
So you have a good 5 minutes to be able to talk
Cool.
about
No,
that.
let me just do this, then Jake can run the clock right out, okay? So tomorrow, City Life, we got Cliff Krieger's gonna be the host. Eileen Del Rossi will be here. Jose Cervantes was gonna be here, and Marty Laurie, one of the best predictors of elections I've ever met in my life, he's gonna be here tomorrow, Marty Laurie. And the last text of the day, giving the Chelmsford Senior Center a break. It could have been an off day for the center yesterday. Maybe they were trying a new creation. Not every trip to the plate is a home run.
Good point.
No pun intended. That's why I said I think we'll go
Benchmark.
back a couple of times and see how it is. Okay, Jay, the
All
floor
right,
is yours.
So we've got a couple of big, exciting things kind of happening. So the work on the Parker Middle School project is really picking up quickly. Last spring, we hired Left Field to be the owner's project manager. They're under contract. This summer, we ended up interviewing designers and selected AI3 architects. They're going to be the design firm. They're under contract now for this project. So those were two key elements we had to get in place. We then started in the end of September all the way through October, a series of internal kind of vision sessions with staff to take a look at current programs, what they like, what they don't like, what they would like to see in a new building, what would have to actually be built out. So there's a lot of work that's taking place with that. But there's actually going to be 3 opportunities for just general community input. So this is any individuals in town that want to hear more about the project, want to participate in some way. We have our first visioning session coming up next Wednesday, the 22nd, at 7 o'clock, and we're going to hold them all at the Elks just for consistency's sake. Easy to get into, good parking, it's all one level. But we have one in October, one November, one December. And these are going to be opportunities for the community. Pete from Chelmsford Telemedia is going to record them so that we can broadcast them as well. But it'll be a good opportunity to hear about the project, where we're at, the different options we're looking at. We have 3 very unique different grade level configurations that we're exploring. We have different locations where the schools could potentially go. So the work between now and December is really to try to finalize a little bit, or try to see if we can triangulate on the actual options that we truly want to explore. Because January to May, we need to actually whittle them down to the preferred program that Chelmsford would like to advance to the MSBA before we get into like a schematic design phase, things along those lines. So this school year is really going to be deciding, do we do a 2 grade level school, like a current 5-6 where Parker's at? Do we do a 3 grade level school, a 4, 5, 6, and take the 4th grade out of the elementary schools, frees up a little bit of space for them, and then all 4, 5, 6 kids benefit from new building? Or do we do a 5, 6, 7, 8, a kind of a mega middle school, recombining Parker and McCarthy on new property? Parker comes offline, and then McCarthy could potentially be used as an alternative space to help with some of the elementary overcrowding. So those are 3 distinct options we have to look at. Under each of those options, we have to look at the current Parker or the sites and take a look at what a code upgrade to the building would be, what an addition renovation to the building would be, and what new construction would look like. So just a lot of work taking place with AI3, the architect, and Left Field, the OPM, to get us to May when we actually say, all right, this is the grade level configuration we want to go with, and we want, add reno, or we want new construction. Because at that point in time, we do the schematic design with the MSBA, we do all the cost estimating, and it's looking like almost a year from now, late next fall, early next winter, is when we'd actually be going to the town for an override, a debt exclusion, something along those lines, to get support for the project.
Wow.
Jay, I got a question. Is air conditioning a primary element in a new school?
It
Is it
typically
definite,
is.
or it's a maybe? And I'm talking the whole school, not just administration.
Yeah, no, I mean, typically in brand-new buildings these days, air conditioning's included, across the board.
Technology-wise, we're mostly moving into wireless connectivity to the internet. Many school developers are putting both in. They're putting wired in, wireless. What are your thoughts on future technology connectivity to the internet?
Yeah, I think if you're building new, you would do both, because if you've got exposed walls and things like that, there's no harm in running hard wires. But then, like, each of our classrooms now is all wireless as well, so you have wireless access points, but you still have to run the wire to get to the wireless access point. So you would just run extra wire and just leave it there for future whatever.
Understood. Thank you.
But it would be both.
I agree. Good thinking, thanks.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for
Yeah,
coming.
that's a
Thanks for
good
all your
update.
information.
Good update.
But definitely, if people want to come out next Wednesday, the 22nd at 7, that's the first session, to get a good update. I'm going to guess it's going to be about an hour, hour and a half long meeting. Just a full gamut, where we're at, where we're going, how you can be involved. That'd be the way to go.
Well, thank you very much for being our guest this morning. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
that.
having me again. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam. And
Always
we
a
hope
ton of
everybody has a great
information
day.
when you're
Everybody
on
stay
the
safe,
show.
and
Yep.
we'll see you next week, even though
Very good.
it's tomorrow too, but I'll see you next week.
Don't forget trash pickup. Chelmsford worked till Labor Day.
Okay.
So you're saying that you're not sure?
No, I think, I'm pretty sure.
Thanks, see the word thanks.
We are delayed a day in Chelmsford.
I think